So this is for anyone that doesn't quite know what they're supposed to be doing. You know, they feel like with all this chaos and this madness in the world, they're just losing their minds. And they don't quite understand what the right path is for them. But the only thing that you should focus on are the things that are in your control. How you react to the world, how you think in the world, the actions you take in the world. This is the only thing that you should really focus on. And, you know, I get that being a realist is definitely something that, you know, it matters. And your life feels like you just don't know what to do right now. You know, you feel like you've been trying everything that you can, and you've been trying to be something different. But, you know, you just keep getting pulled back to the old version of you. And, you know, I have sympathy, I have empathy for you, because I was on that, you know, that roller coaster of my life. I would have high moments, then I'd have low moments, but essentially what you're trying to get out of is not to fully dismiss being a realist, but to understand that you can't be 100% a realist, because if you think like that, then all this stuff going on in the world, you know, the hardships, the struggles, the pain, the suffering, you know, like I said, I understand that you think that this is the only thing that you can see. This is the only thing that you can physically see and the only thing that you could focus on. But I'm here to tell you that you cannot just focus on being a realist. Okay? Because, you know, I choose to focus on some percentage of my life. I focus on the dream state, which is the visions that I have in my thoughts, in my mind. It's the blueprint of my future. And, you know, I'm just living every single day like it's another day. And I don't know all the answers. I don't know exactly what I'm doing myself. But I do know that once I stopped focusing solely on being a realist 100% of the time, I started to change my habits, and I started to be more in tune with who I'm meant to be on this planet. And, you know, again, I'm not denying the reality of the current state of the world. Now, I currently am living in America, and I can only talk about America, and especially the West Coast. That's where I live. And I'm pretty sure that most of the world sees reality in the perspective of their life sucks. And I totally understand that. I mean, it's definitely something to take into consideration, and it's definitely a reality. I know it's reality, but the reason why I'm trying to talk to you right now is that you can't just focus on that, because, you know, as much chaos and as much as noise as there is, and the negativity and, you know, the reality of everything, I know it's happening, but it took me a long time to figure this out, but I've noticed that within myself that if I only focus on that, being 100% a realist, how am I gonna get out of my current situation and get into a better situation? And I realized that it was never gonna work, because whatever thoughts that you think about on a day-to-day basis, this is exactly who you become, because subconsciously the thoughts will go into your mind, and without even thinking about it, you will just slowly take the actions into keeping you into that same realistic, 100% realist lifestyle. And you might think, well, I want to live in reality, and that's perfectly fine, but you can't deny that there are people on this planet that are living the best version of themselves. They're living on the same earth. We're all living on planet Earth, but not everybody is living and seeing life through the perspective of becoming better, to help others, to truly thrive, not just to survive, right? And because when you focus on just being 100% a realist, it's almost like your current reality, your current lifestyle, your friends, your family, your coworkers, it's a lot easier to not find a way out. You're gonna be, because think about it, all the people you're talking with around your circle, right? They're gonna give you the same feedback, the same reassurance of, yes, life sucks, and I can't get out of this 9-to-5 grind, or I can't get out of my, paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. I get what you're talking about, but this is why I'm saying don't fully get rid of the realist lifestyle, right? But some of the percentage, focus on what your dreams are, what your goals are. And maybe you've never thought about it in your life before, right? Because maybe you've just been so stuck on this hamster wheel, and you never gave yourself a break to think about it. And maybe you think you can't because you have so many bills and you have so many things going on in your life. And whenever someone says, oh, well, you could change your life, and then you say to yourself, well, I can't. I don't have any time. Which may be the case. I mean, honestly, it may be the case, but I really think that you're better than that. I really do believe, because I know it happened to me too. I was telling myself that I didn't have enough time. But then I just started focusing on, what I could control in my life, how I react to the world, how I think, my thoughts. I look at my current reality and I know that this is being a realist, but how is it that some people on this earth are actually living? They're not just surviving or living, they're thriving. They're actually living the best life. And you can do that too. You just have to believe. But, I'm not here to convince you to change. I'm just trying to give you a different perspective. And, you can take it or leave it. And a lot about this is just, trying to find a different path, learning from others, and trying to make a change. I mean, truly, you can't help other people or change other people until you change yourself. And I'm on this journey myself, and I'm taking it step by step as well. So yeah, that's about it for today. But I want you guys to think about that. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys are currently struggling with something and maybe you've gotten over it. Maybe you're on your path right now and you're trying to truly get out of that mindset of just being stuck. But really just, if you've never thought about this for yourself, just try to think about something different and get a different perspective. And with that, I leave you, my friends, and I want you to live your best life as much as you can. And maybe right now is not the time for you to change. Maybe you just saw this video and it's just meant for you to listen. And maybe that's all that matters. The fact that you just listen. Honestly, I appreciate it. Thank you. Anyways, until next time, stay true to yourself, and life will get better.